avocado toast. That'll be $11.
Yeah. And oop.
Hold on. Let's see if he's got it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he had so many fun facts on the way home from school today.
Like, name one.
He was quizzing me. He said, do you know how diamonds are made? And then I answered, and he would say, correct. And then he said, do you know what animal has the biggest heart? And then I answered, and he said, correct. Stuff like that.
Hello, housekeeping. May we have your presence for a moment?
Come here.
That was the uncouth way. Come here. Hi.
Do you want a cracker?
Ladies and gentlemen, our current guest needs no introduction. He took a shower today for the first time this week. The lovely, the talented Lennox Abra Garcia. Len, what fun facts do you have for...
The most dangerous animal in the world is a mosquito.
Come closer, please.
The most dangerous animal in the world is a mosquito.
And why is that?
How's that? Why is defined dangerous, or why is that? Why is a mosquito?
A mosquito is dangerous because it carries diseases, and when they bite you, they give you germs, which can cause diseases.
Mm-hmm. Remember all those questions you were asking me on the walk home today?
Yes.
Yes, he does. All right. Thanks for coming. Have a good... No, wait. How are diamonds made?
Yes, you know.
He shrugged.
I forgot.
It needs a lot of pressure, and they're underground
Yeah, pressure.
for millions of years.
I was going to say that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Jeez. She has to have all the attention, right? Like, worst talk show guest ever. And then what was the other thing?
Which animal has the biggest heart?
A blue whale.
A blue wet whale. They have the biggest everything.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
The biggest dink. Am I really?
Gosh.
What did this start out as?
Fun facts with Lennox.
What was this first one?
Mosquitoes are the most dangerous animal.
Most dangerous animal in the world.
Right.
I feel like you asked me other questions on the way home today.
I think I did. I might have.
You said which animal seems dangerous but actually isn't. Do you remember my answer?
What was it?
My-
Rhinoceros?
No, my answer was tarantula.
Oh.
Because tarantulas are harmless, but they're so big and scary. They seem...
Their legs are so prickly. Like yours after you don't shave for 3 days, honey. All right, Len. Well, thank you for coming on. Do you have anything you want to plug? Let the people know what's going on with your life.
Do you want to defend the accusations that you were caught twerking on the playground this
What?
afternoon? You don't want to defend yourself?
Was it true or false? Were you twerking on the playground?
I was.
He said I was.
He admits.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Wait, I have another guess.
Get him over here. Ladies and gentlemen, our next cat.
And oop.
Greetings, Internet. Welcome to But I'm Still a Good Person by Vince Nicholas. I'm Vince Nicholas. I'm joined by my sparkling wifey, Carolyn Nicholas.
Hey.
Hello, honey. Thank you for joining me at our dining room table for our little program here. I like that. Hey. Hey, girl. Okay. So, let's get into it.
And oop.
Hey, Len, do you know what the word divine means?
Divine.
Special?
Sorta.
Let's say that.
All right.
Rupert beneath you.
I had a coworker this week who asked me out of the blue about a restaurant in West Sacramento. He lives in South Sac, or Elk Grove. We live in West Sac. And he texted me out of the blue, and this is in the evening, so I was at my leisure. I wasn't at work. Okay.
You weren't on the clock.
I was not on the clock. I should have clocked back in to answer his silly question. But he asked about a restaurant, and I said, "Oh, their pizza is okay, but their meatballs are divine." And then I see him the morning after at work, going about our day, and he says, "Yeah, so the meatballs are divine. I had to ask my wife what divine meant." And I thought, what? Divine, I mean, it's a little upgrade of a normal vocab, like from kindergarten.
I would expect people to know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's shocking that a grown man doesn't know what that word means.
He's 58. He wears a lot of Chicago Bulls merchandise, which speaks volumes. But I would think divine would be pretty low rung on the vocab scale.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. And he's 58. And like I said, he wears a lot of Chicago Bulls merchandise.
That is very surprising.
We just had back and forth about allegory versus
Anecdote. Vince here thought that anecdote and allegory were essentially the same thing.
Very similar.
And then what happened? Your very smart wife informed you, no, they're not.
Well, you looked up the definitions.
Yeah, because I was trying to explain it and I felt like I wasn't doing a good job defining allegory.
Yeah. And
So
yes.
Are you clear on it now? Do you know what an allegory is?
Well, tell me. Tell Paul and Kathy Lewis and Carrie Lewis and Liz Fisher.
And Stephanie and Ryan Lewis.
And Lisa Fisher.
And Lisa Fisher, new listener, yay.
And my mom.
An allegory is a tale or a story that provides a moral lesson or a political lesson. It's often fictional.
Okay.
An anecdote is a personal tale or story that really happened to you. And it's just like a little tale of something that happened to you.
Okay. But can an anecdote with a political bent that is true and that has a lesson, can it turn into an allegory? And then would the anecdote be officially labeled an allegory, or is it still in the anecdote column?
I think it would still be an anecdote, but it's an anecdote that has a broader lesson or story to tell than just, hey, I went to the store today and I got some chips. That's an anecdote.
I think that's an allegory, because you did not go to the store and you did not. It's apocryphal. It's apocryphal.
I don't know what apocryphal means.
False. Or personal. Hey, Google. What does apocryphal mean?
Apocryphal is used as an adjective to mean of a story or statement of doubtful authenticity, although widely circulated as being true, similarly to fictitious and made up. Do you want to hear how apocryphal is spelled?
No.
So it's everything you hear on Facebook?
So there's anecdote, there's allegory, and there's apocryphal.
There's too many words, basically.
There are too many words. But yet people don't know divine. There's too many words yet. I remember Grandpa Curtis telling me, I don't know if you've heard something, but we used to get the newspaper way back.
Yeah.
The San Diego Union Tribune.
And oop.
Is my chomping super loud, by the way?
I don't know. I remember Grandpa Curtis telling me that newspapers were written on a 6th grade level. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I think, because you don't want to be like too highfalutin.
Yep.
You want to reach the masses, but you don't want to be like gaga, goo goo, poo poo, da da, doo doo, as a bunch of journalists. But I think divine is like a 7th grade word.
If not 5th or 6th.
got the gist of divine.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Divine. Very good. And it blew my mind. And
That's amazing.
And so, but now all I think about when I see this certain coworker is, here comes Divine. Is Divine here today? How's Divine doing? Divine and I are going to the post office. And that I just can't stop thinking about that. This grown man who's made a lovely life for himself and his wife, that he didn't know the word divine.
I want to know what other words he doesn't know. What
Yeah.
else can you teach this man?
Yeah.
What wisdom can you bestow to him?
I should have an English lesson.
You know what? Every day you should just throw out a word.
Yeah.
And if it's kind of not super common, just see what he says.
Well, when he brought up, he had to ask his wife what divine meant. And I guess she knows what divine meant because she fulfilled him the definition. So I was like, oh, okay. And that kind of threw me for a loop. But then I said, yeah, the meatballs were divine. And then I said, they were sublime. And then I was like, oh, is that an 8th grade word? Did I go from 6th to 7th to 8th?
I wonder if his wife was like, you don't know what divine means?
Right. In 20 years, wait, I'm 44. So if in 13 to 14 years, honey, if I asked you what divine meant, would you be like, who did I marry? Would have been the last 15 years of my life.
Absolutely. Who are you?
But I threw out, so divine was in question, and then sublime, and I'm not sure. I think he got, because he knew what he knew what divine was going in, and that I think he followed my synonym track.
Yeah.
And then he got what sublime meant.
I hope so.
My mom asked me about this, the kids' homework. So, and I was comparing it to like homework when I was a kid. And so I said, well, it seems to take less time. But there are still some questions where some of Lennox's math questions, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what divine means. What are you talking about? But some of his math, I'm like, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even begin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going. I don't know what they want. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
And then we're always like, well, just ask your teacher. And then he always comes back with, oh yeah, the teacher helped us because a lot of people didn't know it. So the kids' current homework, I feel like they're done in 5 minutes sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's super short, but some of it is too hard where we're just like, we can't help.
Lennox usually gets through his homework very quickly.
Yeah.
It's not too often he has a problem here and there he can't do.
Yeah. Luna, it takes a little more time.
A little more time, but she never needs our help.
Right.
It's just more time consuming.
Right. How would you compare it to homework when you were a kid? I remember doing homework like it was a good hour at night.
I do too, but I cannot tell you if that was middle school or if that was high school. Like, my brain can't remember what years of my life had the most homework like that. But I do remember having like an hour plus of homework.
Yeah. And see, I wonder, it's a lot shorter now, but it can be more difficult. But back in the day, it was longer, but it was easier. And both Lennox and Luna get A's, like across the board. Like Luna, A pluses, except for one class. She has an A in it or whatever.
Yes.
But so is homework different now? Why is it different?
There are many nights where Luna doesn't have homework.
Right. That's
More often than
thing.
not, she doesn't have homework. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if teachers nowadays, because I think back when you and I were younger, they really overdid it on homework.
Yeah.
Like an unnecessary load of homework.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's kind of changed over the years, where they're realizing it's not that important that we make these kids have hours and hours of homework every day.
Right. Important. Or as the new the new pronunciation is important.
Important.
Yeah. I wonder, like, is it, well, I was listening to Adam Carolla today, and he said, like with work, you work, and some people take their work home with them, but the majority don't. Like once you stop working, if you can knock it out in 8 hours, you knock it out, and if there's still some left over, you don't go home and stay on your laptop and stay on your email. So I get that. I think that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't go home and slave away on homework for an hour or two. I mean, just knock it out at work, at school.
Yeah.
Get it done. And if you don't get it done, well,
it'll be there tomorrow.
Right, it'll be there tomorrow.
I think there's a very few specific jobs that require off-the-clock at-home work to be done.
Yeah.
And that's the idea behind homework, right? Like learning how to practice things and teach yourself these skills that you need to know to get it done during the school day.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's totally necessary. I think spending time just relaxing, spending time with your friends and siblings and parents is important too. I hope the schools have started to agree with that.
I think so. And I would say like if you do take your homework with your work home with you, you get rewarded financially. Like you're making a ton of dough or a lot of money, a couple $100,000. Yeah, I'll hop on the email for 45 minutes when I'm at home and I'm supposed to be off the clock and at my leisure. But just run-of-the-mill jobs.
Yeah, which is like the majority of jobs.
Right. So I flew recently. And a few ideas, notes, observations, hot takes. I got hot coffee as my beverage. That's my go-to. I like to fly in the morning. I like first flight to or fro. Like, get me out of there. Get me to my destination ASAP. And I've always been an early riser, thanks to my mom. But I'm a hot coffee and cream kind of guy. But the thing is, like, so they give you a snack. And the Southwest Airlines snack mix, it's gone way downhill. Like, it used to be peanuts, and peanuts are all-star standout.
Oh, yum. Roasted
snack.
Peanuts.
Yeah. And they even had, like, honey roasted for a little while. I remember that. But then they went all pretzel many years ago. And I hate pretzels. Like, at the grocery store, when I see the pretzel section of the snack aisle, the chip aisle, I gloss right over it. I pass right over. I can't move. What's up with pretzels? They're hard and then they are salty. And I can get behind some salt, but the hard, crunchy.
Pretzels are the worst.
Yeah.
Unless it's a big, soft one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a totally different food. But
get some cheese or mustard to dip in.
Oh, boy.
But pretzels suck. And I don't understand how there's so many varieties and people like them and rolled gold. It's just, you're chewing on cardboard, essentially. And then they throw some salt on there, so it makes it somewhat of a snack. The one exception I would say is the Snyder's of Hanover honey mustard pretzels. They're very good because they're super flavorful and they're quite dense.
It's the honey mustard, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But they're very good. So Southwest snacks went from peanuts, sometimes honey roasted peanuts, pretzels, and so now when I get their little snack bag, I don't even open it anymore because I'm like, oh, a bunch of pretzels. I'll give it to Kurt, my stepdad, or I'll throw it away, or I'll just leave it somewhere because I hate pretzels. Another thing is like these snack bags that don't have the see-through portion, so you don't know what you're getting into. And you could read the ingredients, but it's like everything. There's 900 ingredients. Acetaminophen is on there or whatever. all these chemicals you never heard of. So I couldn't see what was going on. I assumed it was pretzels. But actually on the way up, I opened it. And it turned out it was a lot of pretzels, first of all. But there were a few Cheez-Its in there. And then they had a few, the rye crisp bread.
Those are the worst.
You mean the best?
Those are so hard. They have no flavor.
Oh, they have tons of flavor.
Those
Garlic
are worse than
salt.
pretzels.
No. But anyways, I was very surprised. I was like, oh, there's just a couple cheeses here. There's a couple rye crisp bread things, and there's some pretzels. But what I'm getting at is that I ordered hot coffee, and pretzels and Cheez-Its do not go with hot coffee. So if you order hot coffee, they should have a couple like pastries or like low end. I mean, obviously Southwest is cutting corners like crazy. They should have like a couple of those cheap bear claws you see at Dollar Tree,
Yeah.
99-cent store.
You get like 10 in a pack for $1.25.
Right. So pretzels do not go with coffee. So if you order the coffee, they're like, oh, here's a Drake's coffee cake, which I know from Seinfeld. But something low end, but not pretzels, not Cheez-Its.
Not cheese and salt with your coffee.
Yeah, I would even go with the toffee peanut.
Okay, yeah.
But I think your snack should match your beverage. Like when you eat fish and you drink white wine.
What pairs with this coffee I have?
Yes, exactly. Another thing that happened on the flight. This was a flight from Sacramento to San Diego. So there was a mom next to me, and she had her 8-year-old son next to her. I was in the aisle, and it was a fine flight. Didn't talk, but whatever. That's one thing. Like, so waiting for the flight and boarding, and I saw like a young guy, and he was chatting up a young gal. You know, where are you going? Oh, you're going to a wedding. And they got into this whole engrossing conversation. And I thought, I don't care like about anyone. I don't want to chat to anyone. I don't want to talk.
Is that because of your age? Like,
Yes.
if you were in your 20s, would you have been chatting up this young gal?
I would have been chatting to anyone, to the person I sat next to a grown man I sat next to. Because, we're going to San Diego to see my family, and we're flying down, or we're connecting to Houston for whatever reason. I found that all that, for lack of a better word, interesting or fascinating, or just something to talk about. But now I could care less.
You cared about your fellow humans.
I wanted to get to my destination ASAP. Do you find that you just care less
Yes.
chatting?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More and more as I get older, I just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone with my thoughts, with
Mhm.
my little coffee, my little pretzels. Let me just be alone.
Right. Nothing against. There's no ill will here. It's just I don't care,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you don't care about me. Let's just not care about each other and hope this plane doesn't crash. Let's get to our destination. But so I sat next to a mom who was in her 40s or whatever. Son, 8 years old. And so at the end of the flight, the stewardess, flight attendant, which one is
One of those is offensive
stewardess? I think.
and outdated.
By the way, how do you spell stewardess? Is it EWA or is it UAR?
It's EWA.
Okay. But the stewardess comes through, and how they have the garbage bags. So it's the end of the flight, and you're just kind of tossing everything over there. The mom next to me had a coffee when she came on. Okay, she has a coffee. And at the end of the flight, flight attendant comes through with the garbage bag, and everyone dumps their stuff because we're about to land, and you don't want that nonsense. But the mom next to me, again, I'm in the aisle. She's in the middle seat. Garbage bag comes. She hands me her coffee, and it's nearly full. And I was like, what have you been doing, lady? And I thought, well, I'm going to dump this nearly full cup of coffee into a plastic trash bag. That's just asking for trouble.
Oh, yeah. And you know they're not springing for the Glad.
Ah.
They're going with the cheap crap that
Yeah.
rips and tears.
The great value. Right. And so I was like, I was trying to be very careful, but I thought, well, if this coffee spills out, it's going to be a bunch of liquid in the bottom of a trash bag. That could lead to ruin for the Southwest flight attendant.
Poor flight attendant, but you know what? Not your problem.
Yeah. Well, I thought this lady, she should have drank the coffee or she should have kept it.
Yeah, she should have kept it and taken it to a more sturdy trash receptacle.
Yeah. And not give it to me. And now I'm responsible for this 18 ounces of hot coffee in this trash bag.
So you should have held on to it. So at the end of the day, this is your fault.
Or I should have. She should have She could have handed it to me, and I would have felt that it's nearly full and just pounded it. Be like, yeah, lady, I care about the flight attendant.
And oop.
Can I wipe your nose? You have like some snot right here that's bugging me. Bugging me.
And oop.
So waiting at the gate, I do this thing, and I'm sure everyone does it on some level, but first of all, you keep an eye out for the pilot. Because they go through the same...
Yeah.
First of all, why can't they put the pilot to go through on the runway or something? Like a special entrance? It's very odd that the pilot passes in front of you. And you're
I wonder if the pilot also has to go through some sort of pat-down, TSA, metal detector. Do you know?
No, I don't. But...
I love spotting the pilot.
Yeah.
And they're always like in their little crisp suits.
Yeah.
And they look so responsible and admirable.
Yeah.
And I think this is who has my life in their hands.
Well, this pilot, on the flight down from Sacramento to San Diego, he was very trim, very fit, like a clean-cut dude. And instantly that puts me at peace. Like, I'm like, this guy's trustworthy. Like the Denzel Washington movie Flight, where he would get trashed and sleep with hookers or whatever and do drugs. Like, I'm pretty sure this guy didn't have that going on. And actually, never mind the special entrance. I like that they have to go through the gate like the rest of us.
Me too.
Heathens. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I was like, it put my mind at ease. I was like, okay, this guy, I can trust this guy. On the way back, not so trim, not so fit. And shorter than the other pilot, but still, I could tell he wasn't up to any shenanigans. I could put my life in his hands, in his steady hands. And then the other thing I do while waiting is I look at the passengers. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking around. And I'm like, if shit pops off, I'm ready. Like I'm pretty sure I could take everyone. If the shoe bomber pops up or whatever, or Mr. Terrorist A or Terrorist B wants to do some damage, I can get this guy. And if I can't get this guy, then me and the other trim, fit passengers who lift, maybe, we could take him down. Do you do that?
No.
Well, is it because you're a woman?
Probably because I'm a woman, I guess.
Well, don't you look at passengers? You're like, this guy looks very questionable.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But I never think in terms of like, could I stop this person? Am I capable? I just say, Jesus, take the wheel. Because this is out of my hands. For the duration of this flight, nothing is in my control.
Yeah. Fun fact, I pray before every flight or before we take off.
I didn't know you prayed in general.
Only on flights.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Sunday school at what was our church called? I don't know. It was in Claremont, California, which is in San Diego, California. But we had Sunday school with a guy named Tony, who was a veteran, and he had like tattoos, and I'm pretty sure he probably killed someone or two during battle in theater of war. Yeah, he was a trip because he was like a badass dude. You could tell he did some dirt, but here he is teaching us 8-year-olds about God and singing glory, glory, hallelujah. But it stuck with me ever since that time. But he said, I don't know how faithful to the work this is to the Bible. That's like the new Lord of the Rings. Is it faithful to J.R.R. Tolkien's vision?
Is this canon?
Is this canon? But I remember Tony saying, Tattooed Tony, if you ask for forgiveness, you're going to go to heaven automatically.
Well, hot diggity dog.
Right. So before, and this is during the taxiing process, like getting ready to take off, I always pray and I say, please forgive me of all my sins.
Oh, you pray for forgiveness, not like
Yeah.
safety getting to your destination.
No. Although that's a good one.
Well.
But I feel like that's out of God's hand, and that's in the trim fit
I see. Yeah, that makes that makes sense.
pilot's hand. But Tony always said, if you ask for forgiveness, you'll go to heaven. And I said, and so my question was to Tony back in the day, I was like, well, so if I'm about to cross the street and I say, hey, God, please forgive me of all my sins. And obviously God doesn't answer in any verbal manner, but please forgive me of all my sins. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. And then I walk into the street and a bus hits me. Will I go to heaven? And Tony was like, yeah. And I was like, well, all right then.
Cool.
So every single flight for 20, 30 years, I always pray during the taxiing process.
And then you can rest at ease.
Well, I don't rest. But because flying, I don't get nervous flying, but I'm just like, we're in a metal tube 40,000 feet in the air going 500 miles. Yes.
If you think at all in any literal terms of what you're going through, like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's so unsettling
Yeah.
and like unnatural. This is not what man was meant to do.
Yeah.
We're meant to be on the ground.
And for the price of Southwest does it, $100 each way. It's ridiculous. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I try not to think about it, but in not thinking about it, excuse me, sorry, Liz Fisher, and not thinking about it, I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, that conundrum.
Yeah, but you don't want to think about the logic of this or what would happen if. But yeah, size up the passengers, size up the pilots. In San Diego, I didn't get together with any of my friends. And by any of my friends, I mean 3 people. Arnold Gonzalez, Mary Grace Kennedy, and Jennifer Kwok. And it was more like just, and I was thinking about this, like, I follow them on Instagram and Facebook, so I know what's going on with them. So why would I want to meet with them?
This reminds me, recently we were talking about how you only read the headlines. You don't read articles.
Right.
And you mentioned a headline to me recently, and I was asking you some follow-up questions.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just read the headlines.
Yeah.
So the same applies to your friendships.
Yeah.
Essentially, their social media updates are the headlines.
Yeah.
And you have no need to dig deeper, go further.
I mean, I could, but who has time to read all these stories, honey? Well, I feel like that connection, which is a very superficial connection or a very weak connection, it kind of pushes aside the urge for any real connection or further follow-up, or like asking follow-up, like deep diving and asking questions and probing.
This is the social media phenomena.
Yeah. And it's new and no one knows how to deal with it. We're dealing with it, but no, it's completely new to humanity and mankind. So I just didn't feel the need to get together and chat about what I already know. And yeah, it's the glitzy, glamorous life that we put on the socials. But I don't need your long-winded, pointed think piece on the Atlantic.
Have you felt this way for many years? Or has this kind of changed with you entering into your 40s,
Yeah.
becoming like a married family man?
Yeah.
Did that have any effect on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think aging. Well, it's like just not caring to chat up people, randos on the airplane.
Do you think? Because I feel the same way that you do
Yeah.
in all of these regards. Are we getting tired? Are we getting old?
Yeah.
Do we only have like the bandwidth for our immediate spouse and children?
Yes. Yes.
I feel that way a lot.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, or... Well, okay. But then I came to the realization that if Arnold Gonzalez was in Sacramento tomorrow, and he called me up or he texted me and said, let's get a drink, let's get a bite, let's hang, I would absolutely do it at the drop of a hat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So then I was like, well, if someone I know was in Sacramento and wanted to hang, I would do it in a second, in a heartbeat. And I would be so happy and so gracious and so joyful to hang. So from now on, when I go down to San Diego, when we go down to San Diego, I will absolutely try to make an appointment, go out of my way to try to see a friend or a few friends.
That sounds great. And maybe if I come with you next time and it's the two of us, then we can hang out with Jen and Dimitri.
Yeah.
And so it would be like a couples thing. Maybe that would be, I don't know, more fun or something. I don't know.
Absolutely. I do know. And it would work and it would be awesome. So before I went, talking to my coworker, Pao Lee, who is an Asian man, and we're comparing moms and the frugality of our moms, if you will. And I told him the story of when my mom came up here, she stayed at a hotel in West Sacramento, and they got the continental breakfast buffet in the morning. You have your way with bagels and oatmeal or whatever.
A free hotel continental breakfast is my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
I just want that on record.
Yeah. Well, see,
there's nothing better.
There's different levels, though. There's the one where they got like cereal and some fruit.
I'll take it.
But the next level is like they got a buttload of scrambled eggs and sausages and middling potatoes, but it's all you can eat.
Got some bagels, some waffles. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the best. But my mom was staying here. That was when we were supposed to buy ironwood or something.
Yeah, that was like the beginning of 2020. It was right before COVID set in, and a lot of hotels stopped doing the continental breakfast in 2020 and 21 because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So she got in for the free breakfast right before that hit. Right.
And so I go there and we're having the continental breakfast. Continental. And so she hands me a bowl of butter, like the little individual foil wrapped serving size of one butter. She hands me like 8 of them, a dish of them. Yeah. And she's like, put these in my purse. I'm going to take them to San Diego. And I was like, all right. And that hit me, that struck me. But you know what? When I was just down there and she was like, hey, bring some walnuts. Hey, bring some basmati rice. Hey, bring a queen-size blanket. That's just how she rolls. She doesn't... But bringing $5 worth of walnuts 500 miles and 40,000 feet in the air at 600 miles per hour, it makes sense to her, or she doesn't see what the big deal is.
She sees an opportunity and she seizes it.
Yeah. She sees an opportunity to save money.
Yeah. Get some swag.
To be economical, and she rolls with it. So she's at the hotel. She hands me a bunch of little pats of butter. Give them a little pat of butter. And then she's like, put these in my purse. I was like, all right. And she went and took them down to San Diego. So I told that to Pao Lee, and we're comparing Tiger Moms back and forth. And he said, okay, well, my mom... And so they went to Thunder Valley, which is a casino outside of Sacramento. huge giant casino, and they got the all-you-can-eat buffet, all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet. And so he said they were sitting there, they're chomping down, they're eating, and when they were done with their meal, when they were done eating, his mom asked for to-go containers at an all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet, and I was like, wow, that's some nerve. And he said his mom asked one of the workers. And the worker was like, we don't do that. We don't have...
Buffets do not do that.
Well, maybe they should. All you can
That's
eat...
the point. The point is it's all you can eat for this set price.
Yeah.
Because you got to eat it all now.
Yeah.
Or too bad.
What if they give you one styrofoam container? Like one takeout container. They say, fill up.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Like dig in as much as you can fill the shopping, the grocery store games on TV,
Yeah.
where it's like, fill up this cart with as much crap as you possibly can.
And oop.
Alrighty, are we done, honey?
Yeah.
Alrighty, well that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, review, and rate, or don't. Do whatever you want. You're a grown up. Make your own decisions. Do what's best for your family. Please be sure to use our promo code for NordVPN.com. We don't have a promo code for NordVPN.com. By the way, do you know what a VPN is, honey?
Yeah.
It's a virtual private network
Okay.
where if you're going to parts of the internet that you don't want the government to know about, you go into a VPN and then you can go hog wild.
What I don't understand
Yes.
is podcast people such as you
Yes.
right now
Yeah.
and YouTube videos I watch sometimes,
Yeah.
they have promo codes for VPNs.
Yes.
So why is it out in the open like this? Why is it not on the hush hush?
Good question. Well, there's a market there and there's a product.
How's
and
it not?
the product is not illegal per se, but people use the product for illegal means sometimes.
Is it like how you can buy allergy medicine at the pharmacy, but then you can use that allergy medicine to make like illegal substances?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And sometimes VPN is just like, well, I want to go to something personal or private that's not necessarily illegal. I can't think of an example right now. Well, the classic examples, well, there's papers out there written on topics, and I want to download those papers, but they're not necessarily free of copyright. That's the example I hear. No one does that.
It's all a sham. It's
yeah.
a front.
Yeah. But I bring up the VPN because a certain person that stays with my mom was violating copyright infringement.
Not Kurt.
Not Curtis. Not Curtis Copperman. And my parents, who is this person? He's a roommate?
A tenant.
A tenant. A boarder. A tenant. This tenant was violating copyright infringement, and he got letters from the ISP, the internet service provider, of, we see that you're violating copyright infringement with whatever, Big Little Fires or whatever he was, or she was downloading. And so they got 2 letters from the ISP, and Grandpa Curtis, my stepdad, was like, you need to knock this shit off.
Yeah.
So, stream. Don't download, kids, okay? Streaming, they won't come after you. So I've heard. Goodbye. I love you. We love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. And sure, I may have called a flight attendant a stewardess, but I'm still a good person, and we're still good people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day/night. Bye-bye.
And oop.
We got chicken.
Is that crispy, juicy tender?